right, now right after the green flag of this race, immediately there was a super long yellow, and that is because a whole bunch of cars crapped out at once. I wonder what those cars would have been, Nick.
What could those cars possibly have been?
I ponder.
At the last race, Jim Davis brought a E36 chassis M3, and then at the end of the race, he went and spun some donuts, which we didn't really care for. So, you know, we gave him a bunch of crap for that, and he tried to redeem himself at this race by bringing in a totally elaborate homemade donut making machine.
It was pretty great.
It was great, and it kind of did redeem himself until the car went back out on track and immediately crashed.
Now, Spank Michael Spangler, aka Spank, he's got like 4 Lemons cars right now. He's got a 380,000 mile Toyota Prius, top speed about 62 miles an hour. He's got a Toyota Prius powered by a Harley Davidson motor.
The Toyo Hog.
Toyo Hog, top speed about 51 miles per hour. He's got an Oldsmobile Toronado front drive Series 1, terrible car. Some other crap. Anyway, he's decided, you know what? I'm getting rid of all of this janky crap.
Yeah.
So he did a fantastic Spank Worthington theme, whole used car deal. It was totally fantastic.
If you need a Lemons car, go to Spank. If you don't want to go far, go to Spank.
We've seen a lot of Alfa Romeo Milanos in this race, and I don't know how nobody has thought of this idea for a theme.
It does seem extremely obvious. Now, the Nyan car, which showed up at Buttonwillow, had the little Nyan Cat thing going on. I thought that was hilarious all weekend long. Shows up again. You know, most themes, when you see them the second time, it's just like, oh, dude, done to death. This thing just keeps getting better. I don't know why. It was fantastic.
Dangerous Homemade Technology is an award that we used to have in Lemons. And
seemed like a bad idea to keep encouraging, but
it was something that we just had to move on from for legal reasons.
Yeah.
So this team was offering mustache rides, and of course, that was a giant teeter-totter shaped like a mustache. And it was so dangerous that we could not even allow it at our terrible event.
Yeah, which is really, really saying something. Heroic Fix was these guys in this Franzia-themed Miata. It was incredibly terrible, and it blew up like 2 motors and a transmission. And the thing was just a disaster, but they stuck it out, and they had wine coming out of a tap in their trunk, so I had to give them something.
I got screwed. Went to these dudes with a Mustang. Now, before the race, this kid emailed me from Benicia High School and said, you know, I'm doing a piece for my high school newspaper. I worked for my high school newspaper. I think Jay probably
worked for my high school newspaper.
And I thought, I'll help this kid out. He said, well, is there any chance I could drive one of these cars? And I thought, well, I don't know. Like, you might want to go on the forum. Maybe somebody will volunteer you a seat, thinking that it probably wouldn't happen. Sure enough, these guys with the Mustang, yeah, we'll let a high school kid drive our car. What could possibly go wrong? About 100 feet into the first lap, clang! And they were totally out of the race until the end, or it limped back on the track after those guys worked on it all weekend. They were totally screwed.
Judge's choice went to this dude. He had a 911 Shell from a whole other project. It was just junk. It was from a rolled car. He said, I'm going to make this into a Lemons car, a Lemons 911. I need a motor. What have I got lying around? Well, I have this 5-year-old Volkswagen diesel. Why wouldn't that work?
Yeah, and you know, racing 911s, they just make this incredible, unmistakable sound.
Howl.
Yeah, it's just an incredible noise that they make. And you know, when he went to this Jetta motor, I feel like he really didn't lose much. The most Marin County award, of course, went to Spank's very self-satisfied Toyota Prius. And to complete the look, he had a bunch of custom bumper stickers made, and it was totally awesome.
I like my unibody, my choice.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. So I'm standing around the penalty box, and this guy comes up and says, I will give you $100 to give my brother Jeff Meyer a trophy that says, my brother's an idiot. I said, oh, dude, done.
We would have done that for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Organizer's Choice. Well, the Organizer's Choice Award is given out to the team that we, as the organizers, find to be the most ridiculously hilarious. And at this race, well, here you go.
This scout is gonna dominate.
And that takes us to IOE, which was the 62 Rambler.
It was a 61.
It was a 61. Oh, that's even more awesome. Of panting polar bear. Went around and around. It was so spectacular. It was incredibly slow. And yet, it beat like a shit ton of cars.
Yeah, it did. In fact, I have a list here, a sheaf of papers of all the cars it beat.
All of those. Taurus SHO.
Yeah, Porsche 928 here.
1996 Audi A4 Quattro beat by the 61 Rambler.
I like how these guys, you know, they could have just put BMW 5 Series, but they went to the trouble to put 535 IS, so the sport package, they lost to the Rambler.
Yeah, as Porsche 928 lost to the Rambler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, here's a Porsche 951, which that's the factory code for the 944 Turbo. They totally got dusted by that Rambler.
All right, here's Lemons in a nutshell.
We got a sale right now for you. This thing is cut